This is the smallest Linux gaming PC I've ever built. And yes, it can run games at 4K resolution. That's exactly what we're doing in today's video. With just a few smart part choices and some careful planning, this kind of setup is actually way more achievable than you might think. As you can see, we're running a Steam Deck style interface powered by Bazzite OS. Basically, everything you get on a Steam Deck, you get right here. That means couch gaming is incredible. You can navigate the entire system using just a controller. And the best part? This PC is tiny, small enough to fit almost anywhere. So today, let's see how far a mini Linux gaming PC can really go. To make all of this work, obviously, we're going to need a few parts. And we'll start with the foundation of the entire setup. This right here is a Dell Optiplex 3060 Micro. I bought it for $180 on Amazon, but if you're patient, you can definitely find used ones on eBay for way cheaper. This tiny PC was never meant for gaming. It was built for office work and for people who really care about small size and convenience. Inside, it's rocking an i3 8100, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 128 gigabyte drive. Nothing fancy at all, but with this platform, my goal is to turn it into a seriously fun gaming PC. I've spent enough time gaming on Windows to notice its downsides. It tends to eat up system resources thanks to all the background stuff running all the time, just like I mentioned earlier in the video. So instead, we're going with Bazzite OS. In theory, it should optimize the hardware better, and with the same exact specs, we should be able to get higher FPS. And the best part? The installation process is actually really easy. First, we're going to need a USB drive to create a bootable installer. Then we'll need a system to install it on, and I already have a compatible setup ready. This time I'll be using Bazzite, which is a SteamOS-like Linux-based distro. Alright, let's start by downloading the installer. First up is the ISO file. I'll head over to the Bazzite website and choose the correct installation option. Bazzite supports multiple platforms, but since I'm installing this on a desktop PC, I'll select the desktop option. Next, we choose the GPU we're using. Just make sure to pick the one that matches your graphics card. After that, we move on to the desktop environment, and here we've got two main options. If you prefer a clean, modern, and minimal interface that works well with a mouse and keyboard, and is suitable for both daily work and casual use, then GNOME is the way to go. On the other hand, if you want an interface that's more controller-friendly, optimized for gaming, and really turns your PC into a console-like gaming machine, then KDE is the better choice. Once the ISO file is downloaded, the next step is to create the bootable USB. I'll be using Rufus to flash the Bazzite installer onto the USB drive. Just plug in the USB, select the correct ISO file, and create the boot drive like you normally would. After the USB is ready, I'll plug it into the PC that we want to install Bazzite on. At this point, the system will automatically boot into Bazzite. Next, I'll proceed with installing Bazzite onto the hard drive. Once the installation is complete, we move on to the initial setup. This part is fairly straightforward, but it does take a bit of time to finish. And once everything is done, I'll go ahead and restart the system. And just like that, Bazzite is successfully installed. The final step is to log into my Steam account and start using the system like a proper gaming machine. I'll start with Left 4 Dead 2. For this game, I'm playing at 1080p on low settings. The FPS comes in at around 33 frames per second, and overall, the system can still handle the game smoothly and fairly stably. Next up is Combat Master. Once again, I'm playing at 1080p on low settings. With this configuration, the FPS ranges between 20 and 30. However, the experience isn't really smooth. There are occasional minor frame drops, which makes the gameplay feel a bit unstable. Now let's move on to CS2. As soon as I enter the game, stuttering becomes very obvious. In the main menu, the FPS even drops down to single digits. At this point, it's clear that CS2 is basically unplayable in this state. With the Intel Core i3-8100 being relatively weak in terms of performance, I decided it was time to upgrade the CPU, and the CPU I chose is the Intel Core i5-9500, a 6-core 6-thread processor with boost clocks, up to 4.4 GHz, and one that's generally well regarded for its performance in this segment. To get a clearer picture, let's move on to game testing with the new CPU. Going back to Left 4 Dead 2, I'm still playing at 1080p on low settings. At this configuration, the FPS remains at around 33 frames per second. Compared to before the CPU upgrade, the performance shows almost no noticeable improvement. Because of that, this time I decided to upgrade the GPU as well. And the card I chose is the RTX 5060. A dedicated graphics card from NVIDIA, equipped with all of the company's familiar technologies. To connect this GPU to the system, I'm using an M.2 to PCIe adapter. However, it's important to keep in mind that with this type of connection, the GPU only runs at PCIe × 1 bandwidth, so performance is definitely limited compared to a full PCIe × 16 slot. On top of that, since the RTX 5060 requires an 8-pin power connector, I have to use an external power supply to deliver power directly to the GPU. Going back to CS2, the FPS now sits at around 90 to 100. That said, the frame rate isn't perfectly stable, and there are still minor drops during gameplay, which keeps the experience from feeling completely smooth. Next up is Combat Master. In this game, performance is quite stable, with FPS holding at around 60, resulting in a smooth and comfortable experience. That said, this is a very lightweight esports title, so it's not especially difficult for this configuration to handle. Even though this setup is currently using a fairly high-end NVIDIA graphics card, the real-world performance isn't quite what I was hoping for. Based on various information and recommendations, SteamOS has quite a few limitations when it comes to NVIDIA GPUs. The main reason is that NVIDIA relies on closed-source drivers, which are not integrated directly into the Linux kernel. Because of that, every time the system or the kernel gets updated, there's always a risk of issues popping up, things like stuttering, crashes, or the system becoming less stable overall. On the other hand, AMD GPU use open-source drivers that are deeply integrated into Linux. As a result, SteamOS tends to run smoother and remain more stable over long-term use with AMD graphics cards. Now, that's why I decided to replace the RTX 5060 with an RX 6600. So the big question is, does switching to an AMD GPU actually make a difference in real-world performance? Let's head back into game testing and find out. Let's start with The Witcher 3. I'm playing at 1080p on low settings. At this configuration, the FPS stays consistently above 60. Very smooth and stable. This clearly shows that using an AMD GPU helps SteamOS run noticeably more smoothly and reliably. Next up is Cyberpunk 2077. I'm still playing at 1080p on low settings. With this setup, the FPS remains above 30, and even during intense gunfights with lots of effects, the frame rate stays very stable with no obvious stuttering. Now, I'm going to increase the resolution to 4K to see how far this system can really go. Going back to The Witcher 3, still on low settings, the FPS now sits around 60 frames per second. Even during combat with heavy effects, the system remains very stable, which is honestly quite surprising at 4K resolution. Next is CS2. In this test, I'm still playing on low settings. The FPS stays above 60, while it's not perfectly stable in every single moment. There are almost no serious frame drops, and the game is still very playable at this level. And finally, Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K, again on low settings. Once in-game, the FPS hovers around 20 frames per second, with occasional minor drops. That said, this is a very demanding game, so given the performance this system is delivering here, I'd say the result is totally acceptable. After extensive real-world testing, it's clear that AMD graphics cards work very well with SteamOS, delivering a smooth and stable gaming experience overall. On the other hand, NVIDIA GPUs in the current SteamOS environment are not quite as stable, especially when it comes to drivers and long-term compatibility. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos.